Good evening. Good evening. They told us we could wear our own clothes tonight. Don't see anything funny about it.
Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Alexander Armstrong. In the news this week. Outside the ITV studios in Manchester, one nervous man awaits the results of the Jeremy Kyle Show's biggest ever paternity test. After another round of public service cuts, one police officer is politely shown the way to the job centre. And after a few too many sherries on Christmas Eve, Father Christmas struggles to remember where he parked his sleigh. On Ian Hislop's team is a comedian whose stage show always includes a spectacular inflatable set. Just like this one. Takes Ian and Paul 14 hours to blow it up every week. Please welcome Ross Noble. And with Paul Merton tonight as a stand-up comedian who appeared recently in the Royal Variety performance where he went down a storm. Apparently Prince Charles wet himself in the car on the way there. Please welcome Micky Flanagan. And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Paul and Micky, take a look at this.
Oh, yes, this... you haven't got the sound on this. This is... Oh, there wasn't much of it either. So this is... Oh, it keeps moving, doesn't it? This is the... that's the Royal Variety performance. This is the notorious incident now where Charles's car was trapped. What's her name? Camilla, this one? I've not been paying much attention. I thought she's aged a bit, but no, apparently they're still married. And apparently she was poked with a stick between Piccadilly Circus and Argyle Street. And then they were rushed to the Royal Variety performance, where halfway through Prince Charles said, "I think I prefer the bloody riot," and he went back out. Was it like that? You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I just thought it was brilliant the way, you know, she's so well trained that she didn't bolt when she was poked with the stick. That's true.
At least now, because people are really cruel about the way she looks. Now when people say, "Oh, I wouldn't touch her with a barge pole," that's just a sign that you're not a student. You know what I mean?
So you didn't get to meet them at the end?
No, but we was all lined up. They said, we can't, for security reasons, they're gone.
Right.
They've been given an Oyster card each.
No,
the really important people got to meet them beforehand.
Right. Kylie, take that. Take that. Unfortunate name in the middle of a riot.
So, yes, the great act of lèse-majesté that occurred was Camilla being poked.
Yeah.
But
Apparently they won't say that
They're not saying... she might not have been poked, but she was. Yeah. She'd remember at her age. I mean, she was.
Home Secretary Theresa May wouldn't actually confirm the details. In a statement, she said, "I'm not sure about the term poked with a stick. I understand there was contact made."
That's a very similar statement to the police put out afterwards, after they'd hit everyone over the head with a baton. Anyway, they're in trouble, the police, for not protecting the royal family. There was a window open in the royal car.
Yeah.
Well, she was having a fag.
It was a 30-year-old Rolls-Royce.
Oh, yes, illuminated from the inside.
It was damaged in the fracas.
Yes.
There it is. The Sunday Telegraph reported the Rolls-Royce is being treated as a crime scene. Forensic teams will comb the car looking for fingerprints. Where should they start?
The thing is that on the outside or the inside? I said, "Please don't touch us."
According to the Times, when the show ended, they were driven away in the back of a police van. Camilla was overheard to remark, "There's a first time for everything." Not what I've heard, love.
The other thing is, well, the police got in trouble. Did you see that footage of the on YouTube of them dragging a guy out of a wheelchair? And they were going like, have the police gone too far? The point of a wheelchair is somebody in a wheelchair is on wheels. You don't need to drag them. They're almost designed for the job. You just go, excuse me, you're protesting. Move you over there. No kettling involved, nothing like that. Don't drag them, you're making work for yourself. What are you doing?
You're sure the film wasn't reversed? He started off walking down the street but ended up in a wheelchair.
Have you ever seen Susan Boyle move? She looks like she's on wheels. She does. If you,
Are you sure she isn't?
But she just when she'd finished her song, she sort of like hovered across the stage and just went off.
She glides, does
Glides,
she?
she does. She's majestic.
We've been waiting 2,000 years for such a person. And it's Susan Boyle.
Now then, meanwhile, this fella managed to get himself in all the papers. What's his name?
Gilmore.
Charlie Gilmore.
Charlie Gilmore.
What did he do in
Oh,
that upset everyone?
swinging off flags, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He
Flag
swung
on
the
the
cenotaph.
Yeah, there we are. He had an excuse ready, of course. What did he say?
Was he saying, I fell from the cenotaph? he's a chirpy Cockney chimney sweep that was dancing across the rooftops of London, and he went for the sideways kick, he fell down, he grabbed a hold of the flag, he went, oh, sorry, it's highly disrespectful, but I'd quite like to live. And everyone went, be on your way, scamp.
His excuse was nearly that bad.
He said, I'm a dickhead with no respect. Was that
He said he had no idea what the building was that he was swinging from, which, given that he's a history undergraduate...
Yes, he told the Express, I did not realise it was the cenotaph. Although the Express went their own way with this picture. Have a look down in the corner. A girl swings from a flag on the cenotaph for the First World War dead in Whitehall. Well, easy mistake to make.
Well, he has got long hair.
Well, there you are.
He's the adopted son of the man from Pink Floyd.
That's right, yes.
So it allowed people to point up that his father had said that generation don't need no education. Always annoyed me, that. Any education.
Apparently the Mail on Sunday had been following him for some time. They'd spotted him doing what?
On his 8th birthday, he had a packet of jelly tots behind the airing cupboard.
They're thorough, the Mail on Sunday.
They'd spotted him earlier in the day carrying a book of poetry in Parliament Square. They went on, he gave his name as Raphael Lefebvre, but he later admitted this was a pseudonym he used when I'm dealing with the press. What a tit. But the Mail had a theory as to why the protests got so badly out of hand. They reported that it is understood anarchists from Germany and Eastern Europe were among the militants who brought mayhem to the capital, including one man who called himself Wilf from Dresden.
Is a Wilf like a sexy wizard?
No. He's from Dresden. Who complained loudest this week about the police handling of the protests?
Very loud man. No. I don't like what you're doing.
Was it the Czechoslovakian husband and wife scene behind Pink and Perky?
No, it wasn't. It was Iran. Iran, yep, they summoned the British ambassador in Tehran and they asked him to justify the violent and inhumane handling by the British police of peaceful student demonstrations. Gotta love that. So what might we be seeing more of on the streets?
Water cannons.
Yes.
Yeah. They're going to start pelting them with soap and water.
What a cannon. What a cannon.
Did you say soap and water?
Soap and water. Break them up like that.
Yeah, but it's icy weather. It becomes, you know, it's going to be some solid lumps of ice shooting out at the end of this thing.
Or a delightful snowfall. What they'll do is they'll just turn the water cannon on, lovely snow petals will come down, everyone start waltzing.
And flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers and water cannon together seems to be... There's a clash there, isn't there?
It's just steam, isn't it?
Steam. It's being carried with steam, yeah.
Look, kettling.
Yes, so this is the post-mortem into the attack on Charles and Camilla's car. According to witnesses, as the tin of paint was flung at the royal limo, Camilla turned white. Well, white with a hint of apple blossom. One anarchist writer pictured hanging from the cenotaph turned out to be Charlie Gilmore, the son of Pink Floyd guitarist David Gilmour. According to The Sun, the young Cambridge student had a privileged education at £9,000 a term Lancing College. Well, used to be privileged, soon it'll be the going rate. Ian and Ross, here's yours.
It's Eric Pickles.
Mr. Pickles.
Oh, looking for pickles. Ah, that's Prince Wills. And that's... Oh, blimey. Ed Miliband. Thank you for coming. Who are you? Is this all one story? Did the Prince rescue Pickles?
2 helicopters together. He said, we're going to need a Chinook. It wouldn't surprise me if Pickles had a helicopter, because he got rid of his... what's his face? His Prius, didn't he?
Why?
Well, because he got a Jag instead. It's meant to be all, you know, cutting down and austerity. I believe the term is tightening the belt.
Yeah. Shall we have a look at the man who's asking us to tighten our belts?
Yeah.
There he is.
He did have a walnut dash, but he ate it.
But as well as the car, he's Minister for Communities. Or Secretary for State for
And
Communities.
he's actually 4 or 5 communities. just in one his own. His passport's an aerial view. Sorry. I wouldn't say he's fat, but his blood type's ragu. Sorry, carry on. Sorry. I forgot I wasn't a 1950s American Jewish comedian. I do apologise.
Look, this is a serious story. He was trying to make a serious piece of legislation. He's saying that local government should have more power. And they're going to have more power by being given less money. So they're going to have huge spending cuts, and they're going to have the power to not provide any services, which is a terrific advance for devolved government.
Exactly right, yes. Councils throughout the country will be losing on average 5% of their budget. But according to The Times, where are the biggest cuts taking place?
The poorer councils are going to be poorer, and the richer councils are going to stay richer. So
That's
we're
right.
all in it together, proportionally.
Do you know any of the poor councils that are suffering?
Hackney?
They're generally northern.
Shetland, Orkney...
Not that northern.
I'll just work my way down.
Liverpool, Doncaster, Middlesbrough, Hull, South Tyneside, Burnley and Preston face the maximum cut of 8.9%. And the smallest cuts taking place?
Chelsea, Mayfair, Park Lane. What's the other one?
There
Just
will be-
before Go.
There will be minimal reductions of 1% in Dorset, Surrey, Buckinghamshire, Richmond upon Thames and Wokingham. At last, something to ease Wokingham's pain. But there was some good news this week with one new job being created. What was that?
What,
Up
a new
north.
job?
Yes, one new job.
One new job.
No, there was a Geordie translator. Did you read about this? Newcastle-born Paul
Read
Davey.
about it. I got me the job.
Newcastle-born Paul Davey beat off 180 hopefuls that will
Did he
translate.
really?
He deserves the job, doesn't he?
He saw off 180 hopefuls and will translate the northeast dialect for foreign visitors and southerners. Good job.
You could do that job, couldn't you? Because you're a secret Geordie.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, him.
Yes,
he's,
right.
he's deeply Rothbury, that lad there, right? That's how he really talks just before he
I'll
comes
tell
on.
you what, when it's come and stop
Hey,
talking,
look.
that's just how I talk, like that. I'll tell you what, he chat. That's right.
He's
from Crumlin. He's from Crumlin, which is around the corner from us.
Crumlin's just
We're from like Rothbury. We're Rothbury.
Aye.
Crumlin's just not that far away. Is it?
It's not quite as far as Ashington Lake.
No, Ashton. Wait, the
Yeah,
hospital at Ashton.
Wouldn't get myself.
No.
Yeah.
What, Ashton? Blythe?
Anyone?
Blythe.
Oh, I'm not gone now.
Hey,
Oh,
what
Terry was...
man,
Aye,
hey.
sir.
Anyone,
I
any
could do that job.
blind people go, have we got the hairy bikers on?
Yes, what else has Eric Pickles done this week?
Is he inflated an animal?
He has introduced the Localism Bill, which, according to the Mail, gives councils and local people unprecedented powers to save pubs, take control of libraries, boot out travellers and organise lynch mobs. So those spending cuts are going to put people in the north out of work, but has anyone in the Conservative Party suggested another alternative career for them?
Cherry picking. And not cherry picking in a, hey, Northerners, come down and take the best jobs. Actually picking cherries.
That's a David Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's the fella.
He's the leader of Buckinghamshire Council.
He said, come down south, come to Kent, pick the fruit. There's lots of jobs currently being taken by Ukrainians and Somalis. Why don't you Northerners Pop down for a couple of weeks.
Exactly right.
And bring those whippets as well.
Is there no cherries in the north?
No.
You don't have cherries in the north, is that
Have you never heard of the cherry
all
wars
this
in the 1980s? Oh, it's shocking.
They're closing down the cherry yards.
Telling you what, it was awful. It was awful.
The cherry marches that descended on London.
Cherry Marches, wasn't she a porn star? She was a porn star.
What peculiar instruction has Ken Clarke given to prison governors this week?
To let out prisoners more quickly.
No, it's more peculiar than that. They mustn't carry out naked squat searches on transsexuals.
For some people, that is Christmas.
Yes, instead they have to draw up a voluntary contract with them before they carry out a rub-down. Prison officers say this will hamper their search for drugs, and there'll be a fall in crack seizures. OK. Right, now, what new crime-fighting technique are the police using in some parts of the country?
Specially trained psychics on horseback.
No?
Specially trained psychic horses on police back.
Yeah.
It's called social style training. It's a highly sophisticated way of categorising members of the public.
Oh, yeah, are you Lenny Henry?
Exactly
or...
right.
Yeah, they just say,
Do you remember who they
Lenny
were?
Henry?
There were four. There was a spectrum.
Yeah, there was Lenny Henry, there was Jeremy Paxman.
Yeah.
These are the offenders that are categorised.
No, these are members of the public. It's how they categorise. There are only four categories you can
What are
fall
they?
into. There's the Jeremy Paxman, an analytical person who commands respect. There's the Madonna, who's a control freak. The Lorraine Kelly, an amiable person who worries about security. And then there's the Lenny Henry, who can't get arrested.
Sorry, I'm very unclear on this.
Everyone in the public
Is on
apparently
television.
fits into one
Is
of these
that- so hang
categories.
on.
Yes.
So
Right,
Lenny
just
Henry's...
nonsense, isn't it?
Lenny Henry's
killed many times.
As far as I can see, there are four people that carry out major crimes in this country. Lenny Henry, Lorraine Kelly, Jeremy Paxman and Madonna.
But
Yeah.
And you'd think with her money she could leave it alone, wouldn't you? Nipping down with Timothy White's stealing talcum powder. Timothy White stopped trading about 1972.
And you know why?
Why?
Because of people like Madonna.
Exactly.
thieving.
If you say this now, Alexander, later on at the end of the programme, we'll have to have a lawyer's note with us. We'd just like to stress that Madonna has never gone into Timothy White's to steal various... So, you know, but look forward to that apology later on. Will you go to prison for that?
Probably,
Joke?
yes,
Would you go to
probably.
prison for that game?
Yeah, I would.
If
I
you,
would for
if
that.
you do,
Yes.
tuck your bits through,
Yeah.
say I'm a
squat.
transsexual, there'll
Yeah,
be no
yeah.
squat.
But insist on being called Helen.
And you can put a mobile phone up your bum as well now, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with anything else, but you can do it as a Christmas... as a party trick and then phone somebody you don't like.
Yeah.
Who'd like to see a picture of a coalition minister enjoying himself?
Oh, let's have a vote.
despite the
Who would like to see a
economic
picture of the coalition? yeah, we'd like to see one,
coalition
yeah.
minister having a ball? There. Vince Cable.
Yeah, he's on Strictly.
Scumbag. Sorry, what? Politicians. No, wrong. Look, he looks like he can dance there. If politicians want to go on these sorts of shows and profit from some sort of career outside of politics, then they should have the decency to be dragged around by the hair like Widdicombe. And Widdicombe would strictly come down and say, I'm the pantomime character. You're not. People are laughing at you. And I would pay good money not to see her just dragged around the studio, open the doors, just drag her out through the car park, down the street, put her in a skip. I would pay money to see BBC 3 Strictly Come Dancing Extra with Anne Widdicombe in a skip, struggling to get out. That just, you know, I don't want to see politicians dancing on the telly. Do your job. Do your bloody job or get in a skip for my... End of story. That's right. And you know what? I wouldn't go near anything like that in a million years, but have a word, I'll host it. Ross Noble's skip full of politicians.
People get very upset when you put shit in their skip that shouldn't be there.
Who revealed a hidden talent for singing this week?
Was it Wagner?
No. No, it's this man. Have a look at this.
On the very hill, on the very hill, where I found you, the moon stood still. On the very hill, and lingered until.
little bit of magic.
That was lovely.
A very, very unwise decision not to applaud.
Or Kevin Costner.
Die.
Yeah. Which other major international statesman is in a little bit of trouble this week?
Berlusconi.
That's right, yes.
No, he was a crooner before he became a crook.
Was he really?
Yeah. He used to do the boats.
He was in a group, wasn't he? Oh, no, that was the sex.
So, yes, Silvio Berlusconi, here he is. He really should eat more bran, that man, shouldn't he?
He looks dangerously like Steven Seagal.
He's the thing they keep saying about him, he's Teflon coated, they keep saying. He's Teflon coated. You can grill anything on him.
Berlusconi has survived.
He has.
He
How?
survived another vote.
How did this happen?
Because he's desperate. If he's not in power, he'll be in jail.
There was a campaign to support him called Berlusconi's Babes, led by one of his junior ministers, Daniela Sant'Anche. There she is. Plus, there was probably some corruption. I don't know, maybe. According to The Times...
Maybe. How safe is this programme?
According to
say
The Times...
Berlusconi's corrupt. That's very dangerous.
According to The Times, Antonio Razzi of the Anti-Corruption Party said before the last vote he was offered the chance to have his mortgage paid off. He announced last week that he had decided to join Mr Berlusconi's party and support him. So you can't fault his honesty. Meanwhile, things are looking up for Ed Miliband. According to the Sunday Times, his name is now emblazoned on the menus at his local takeaway restaurant, which is really rubbing it in for David Miliband, who's just started work as their new moped delivery. Oh, for a minute there, it looked like I could read. Which is really rubbing it in for David Miliband, who's just started work as their new moped delivery boy. Who'd like to see a picture of a former Prime Minister enjoying himself?
No, I think we've seen enough.
OK. There we are.
Ah, yes.
That's Blair with a Kuwaiti prince.
Who's paying him a huge amount of money.
Hang on, is that what? Is he a tribute act for the artist formerly known? I prefer Hawaiian Elvis, but, you know, you can't have everything.
Yeah. So, Tony Blair Associates, what's been happening there?
They're a lobbying company and organisation, and Blair now makes it his business to hire himself out round the world to advise rulers on how to run their countries. And he's helping the Kuwaitis with their internal organisation.
How much have Tony Blair Associates been paid, allegedly?
No, it's chick feed. It's 27 million.
27 million pounds, yeah.
Again, which is hardly anything.
As the country suffers from another round of cuts, Tony Blair has finally... sorry. I'm so sorry.
Is it the words that are confusing you?
No, it's fine. This is my favourite joke in the whole show.
Oh, but this is the best joke of the show. Remember that.
OK.
Best joke of the show, this one.
I'm going to run into it from the joke before, otherwise the expectation...
Well, pretend we're talking about something else. Oh, and actually, it was your Quality Street, was it? Oh.
Yes, it was mine.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Cagoule again? Never did. Oh, well, mustn't keep chatting, we must get on with the show.
Oh, yeah. As the country suffers from another round of cuts, Tony Blair has finally won planning permission to build a luxury swimming pool in his £6 million country retreat. The pool's been especially designed for Mr Blair. It has 2 shallow ends. So at the end of that round, it is 2 points each.
2 points each, yeah.
And so to round 2, and because it's the festive season, let's see who or what is driving Alexander's sleigh of news.
Sleigh of news?
Yes.
There is a major supermarket, Morrison's in fact, who are employing squirrels to choose nuts for their nut range. They put a load of nuts out, whichever one the squirrel likes, they say that's the best nut to put out on our markets this Christmas. Sainsbury's is doing the same thing with hippos and oven gloves. It's putting together... let animals choose. Let them choose for once, we're saying.
Exactly.
Ocelots and brandy butter. There's a whole thing they're putting together.
That's absolutely right. This is William the squirrel, who has found himself a nice temporary job at Morrison's this Christmas.
Couldn't they give it to a northerner? They don't want squirrels taking all the jobs.
William is a big fan of pecans.
Yeah.
So they've now made it into the store's Christmas mixed nut basket.
And do humans like it?
No, they hate it.
Can't be. Along with the more traditional hazelnuts, almonds and walnuts. It's been brilliant. It's been a massive
Does it have on the
success.
packet, like, recommended by William?
Yeah.
And the picture of him going...
Yeah.
These ones are spot on.
Yeah. Have they got thumb squirrels? They can Photoshop a thumb on the end of it.
I'm getting a bit hot in this jumper.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've just slipped my trousers off.
I am.
I hope there's not a squirrel down there.
Now, William isn't the only rodent making a controversial appearance in supermarkets at the moment. Who is this woman and what is going on here?
This woman took a packet of crisps from off of a shelf and mice fell out of it. Loads of little baby mice.
Baby mice.
And they all fell on the floor. And she scooped them up and she said, lovely. They made her get a job at Morrison's picking out mice. Best flavoured ones.
She is horrified, Liz Ray.
She was only horrified because the supermarket had employed owls to swoop around her. As soon as the mice appeared, straight past her head, she got gashed by a Tawny.
But she kept her head enough to be able to take this not very good picture of the mice on her mobile. There we are. 6 of them.
That's what they use as a deterrent. Because, you know, when you get, like, a jumper or something and it's got a tag in it? But when you buy crisps in that supermarket, they just swipe it in the thing, they take the dead baby mice out. There you go. Merry Christmas. Mind that owl.
According to Liz, Tesco staff were, of course, quick to react. What did they do?
Did they cut off their tails with a carving knife?
No, they put a box over the mice and closed aisle 6.
It's what they would have wanted.
You know, a man in my local bank did a poo on the floor once, and they put a bin over it and carried on serving people.
Did he say he was just making a deposit? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fingers on buzzers, teams.
It's a sprout in a big machine, and there's a little blender there. Some sprout smoothies are the new things. It's a hangover cure.
Exactly right. Sprout smoothie.
Sprout smoothie.
So, do you know what's in a sprout smoothie?
Yes, sprouts and smoothie. That one's sweating a bit there. It must be warm. I should think it'd be sort of yogurty things, indeed, or yogurt as it's called. Honey, sprout, very fresh sprout juices, life-giving sprout juices and stuff.
Well, yes, it combines vodka with orange juice, carrots, ginger and cinnamon. Obviously, the very special ingredient in a sprout smoothie.
The sprout,
No, super sprouts.
Super sprouts. Oh,
yeah, they're rich in selenium, apparently. Nothing says Christmas like a bit of selenium. The sprout smoothie isn't the only exciting new Christmas treat, creating ripples this year.
Yes.
What time-saving ready meal have Morrison's come up with?
Boil in the bag Christmas dinner, everything's in there.
No. It's the Morrison's Christmas dinner pizza. Basically, if you want to guess what the ingredients are?
Christmas
Turkey,
dinner.
cranberries,
Potatoes.
No, weirdly,
No potatoes?
no.
Nana's dribble.
Bacon stock. Essentially, yes.
Finest of liqueurs.
Cheese and tomato sauce onto a pizza base. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, best thing about the Christmas dinner pizza? You get all those excellent, extremely well-sourced ingredients for just £2.50.
Expensive, isn't it?
Not to be outdone, M&S have come up with their own all-in-one Christmas meal. What have they created?
It's a big Christmas pudding. It had everything stuffed into it. So the turkey's been stuffed into all the mincemeat, everything's stuffed into it. Bacon rolls, sausages, everything's stuffed into this huge Christmas pudding.
And then put in a jumper.
It's a Christmas dinner soup.
Christmas dinner.
Turkey, sage and onion stuffing balls, potatoes and parsnips, and just takes 5 minutes in a microwave. It's been developed by Jenny Bates, who is the M&S soup developer.
She might be taken into huge new areas that we've never considered.
Yeah.
Sort of like hard soup. Solid soup.
Soup irrigation.
That's right, that's what I've been saying for years. Nobody listens to me.
This is the Sprout Smoothie, dreamt up by Chef Felice Tocchini for the 2010 Sprout Festival. According to the Gloucester Echo, Alice Nelson, 22 from Cirencester, says she hates sprouts. That's the Gloucester Echo, first with the news. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Yep. Here's another one for you. Buzz when you know what it is. Yes.
This is the winner of the X Factor final. Do you know the X Factor?
Yeah, I'm very, very well aware of it. It's the one on ice.
Speaking of the X Factor, get this right. I was checking out of a hotel the other day, right?
Yeah.
And this car pulls up like a people carrier with blacked out windows, And the fella in it, I was trying to get my car, and I went, go back like that. Eventually, I forced him to go backwards. And then he opened the door. It's only them young, you know, them hairless, like, monkey singer, One Direction, right? Yes. I got One Direction to go in the other direction.
Well, you're half right. You're right in the X Factor thing. What do you think the story is, though?
OK, he's going to be #1 at Christmas. I do know this story. It's either him...
So, is it another Facebook group?
No, it's John Cage, isn't it?
Exactly right, yes.
Someone is hoping to make a Christmas #1 of John Cage's silent work.
Do you know what it's called?
4 minutes, 33 seconds?
4 minutes, 33 seconds, exactly. That's right.
I've never heard it.
Yes, the X Factor itself came to a rather sticky conclusion at the end of its run last weekend. Why was that?
I think it's because the dancing on it was far too sexual.
It's exactly right.
Was it raunchy?
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
I only saw half of it, obviously.
Thousands of complaints have been logged following the raunchy performances before the watershed.
Is that a group? The Watershed?
It's the Weatherspoons in Bromley.
According to the Daily Mail, simulated sexual moves, porn imagery and provocative costumes stunned many who'd expected a more sober final weekend to the show. So let's have a little look at the evidence.
I don't understand. Where are the England football team?
Well, clearly they're channeling the cabaret Voltaire aesthetic, aren't they, from 1920s Berlin? I mean, that's clearly what's going on there. I mean, what do you think, Ross?
Well, I
mean,
think it's either that or some bastards robbed their trousers.
Yeah. There was the satirical reference to the DHSS there, I thought, was very sort of, you know... to say that, look, poor people don't have many clothes, they don't have much money, this is what poor people are like at the moment.
Is that what she said? She went
DHSS.
I'll tell you what, that's not going to get the long-term unemployed back into work, is it?
No,
if she's seeing them at the counter,
exactly,
signing on every week, I've got you a job, it's 500 grand a year. No, I'm fine. I'll keep signing on.
Yeah. Oh, I've dropped my pencil on the floor.
The Daily Mail was so disgusted by all this that they faithfully reproduced almost every frame, even enlarging some of the choicer moves. And they ingeniously included a disclaimer saying, "We apologise to readers, but you have to see these pictures to understand the fury they've stirred."
Tell you what, the people complaining about it being too sexual have got a cheek, considering that Louis Walsh essentially looks like a testicle. Every single week. He's trying to hide it by dyeing his hair. At least put yourself in some sort of gusset.
This is the noble, festive tradition of trying to stop Simon Cowell getting the Christmas #1. This year's front-runner is avant-garde composer John Cage. Cage's composition consists of over 4.5 minutes of silence, last performed on television, ironically enough, by Dermot O'Leary in the pause he left before announcing the winner of X Factor. Another X Factor row broke out over accusations that Christina Aguilera's dance routine was too raunchy. An ITV insider defended the show, pointing out there was no swearing or nudity, apart from backstage when someone accidentally walked in on Wagner and the Tea Lady. Which means at the end of this round, it is 5 points to Paul and Micky. Ian and Ross, you are on 4. Ooh. OK, time now for the odd one out round. Our 4 this week are Alan Sugar, Alex Salmond, prisoner Colin Gunn and Michael Lord.
It's all about people demanding to be called something.
Very good.
Colin Gunn was in the papers because he's a prisoner. He's responsible for a double murder, but he wants the warders to call him Mr. Gunn. He says it's his human right to be called Mr.
Yes.
Michael Lord was Sir Michael Lord and is now a Lord, so he's Lord. And Alex Salmon does not want to be called Salmon.
I think you can have that. They all insist on being called by their titles, except for Alex Salmond, who doesn't mind that no one addresses him by his new title, Starfleet Commander. Scottish First Minister Alex Salmond was awarded the title of Starfleet Commander earlier this year by the world's largest Star Trek fan organisation. He has spoken publicly about his lifelong love of Star Trek. And do you want to know how far he's gone with this obsession?
Is it on a 5-year mission to explore new galaxies?
According to the Scotsman, he used to attach a clothes peg to one eyebrow in a bid to perfect the inscrutable expression of Mr. Spock. So he's gone quite a long way.
I don't remember Mr. Spock ever having a clothes peg stuck to his eyebrow.
That's how he did the Vulcan death grip. It was just a peg. Just do that. Yeah. when he didn't want to kill somebody, he just wanted them to go, ooh, just a peg. He was a gypsy Vulcan.
Obviously the Lord, formerly known as Sir Alan, has admitted that he always wants to be called by his official title.
Right.
Why does he insist on this?
What can happen if you don't do this, all this nonsense?
What?
If you don't Sir and Lord, what really can happen?
You're fired.
It's really...
I think his problem with his name is probably stems from the fact that when he was a child, he probably had a nickname in the playground like Sweetie or Two Lumps. And I think that's shaped his entire character. You know, like somebody called Gregory Sweetex, you know, I mean, it's, you know...
Find that.
Gregory Sweetex, I'd love it if you set up a rival show to The Apprentice and called yourself Gregory Sweetex. and just kept hiring people. Just for people that find that whole show mean, just you're hired. Just a room full of people. What are we supposed to do? I don't know.
The report generated a lot of reaction, not least on the Daily Mail's online message board. If I were governor of the prison, I'd have him breaking rocks for the rest of his term inside. That was from Sally in Manchester. While Slowho from Birmingham says, years ago, when we were a real country, we hanged murderers. Problem solved. That was just above the bit that says the views expressed in the contents above are those of the users and do not necessarily reflect the views of Mail Online. Oh, but they do really. Former Deputy Speaker Sir Michael Lord was recently appointed a peer, making him Lord Lord, which in the list of ridiculous peers' names still comes a distant second to Lord Prescott. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Scottish Curler, Scotland's international curling magazine. If you love curling and you're Scottish, this is the magazine for you. Actually, no, hang on, £2.95. No, it's not. And we start with what, you betwaddled, hopper-assed jackanapes?
It must be Pim's o'clock.
No.
Are you hoping for a crate at Christmas?
He's got a garage full of it if he wants to.
He can't shift his horrible stuff, that's what you told me.
This is a thing about 18th century slang.
It is, exactly.
Oh. So is it avaunt thee, or your cream-faced loon, or have it thee cocklehead?
Shut your bone box is the answer. I mean, yes, this is a list of 18th century slang. 4 of the terms from 1785 are twiddle-poop, effeminate-looking man, hellcat, scolding woman, rusty guts, blunt, surly person, sneaksby, mean-spirited man. So clearly they must have had some kind of X Factor panel then, too. Next, think not what, but what.
What you can do for curling, but what curling can do for you.
This is exactly right. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, this is a rousing speech trying to raise funds for a new ice rink in Scotland at a cost of £1 million. Though a cheaper alternative would just be to leave the tap on for 3 weeks. Next, what? No, it's a coffin.
Horizontal wardrobe?
Recycling bin.
Rolls-Royce, sir.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a coffin. These are handcrafted coffins made in Ghana. They come in a number of styles, including a fish, a golden eagle, and an Air Ghana jet. So for a cheaper Air Ghana jet coffin, just fly Air Ghana. Next, legend has it that there was a game that came before modern indoor curling. It was...
Prostitution.
Being buried alive in a premature burial.
Swing ball.
Is it carpet bowls?
No.
Swimming. Before the Ice Age happened.
It was known as outdoor curling. There are many outdoor curling clubs, so if you want to join one, you better get your skates on. And finally, congratulations. What hospital tells a man of 50?
You're a 51-year-old woman.
Is it? Congratulations. You're the first person to be able to communicate with large medical buildings.
Is it that you're the oldest person in Scotland?
You are a new mother. It's a computer
Exactly
error.
right, yes. Congratulations, you're pregnant.
Right.
The man told the papers he was flabbergasted. I'll bet he was. He'd been so careful. So the final scores are Paul and Micky on 6, but Ian and Ross on 8. Right before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Jed would have a haircut.
Man returns slightly faulty mirror.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian Hislop and Ross Noble, Paul Merton and Micky Flanagan. And I leave you with news that in central London, as another student protest gets out of hand, a passing couple start to worry that their disguises might not be good enough. Disaster strikes on Christmas Eve as a prominent figure gets trapped in a kettling operation. And as parts of the polar ice cap float past Scotland, there's a cheery wave for the residents of Aberdeen. Good night.
Stephen Fry's in holiday mood next here on BBC Two on QIXL. Well, there's some good news in 5 minutes over on BBC Three. Russell Howard is live.
When we started recording this show,
Yeah.
those two blokes there were clean shaven.
Oh, I do beg your pardon, madam.